Stop scrolling! Stop it! Stop! It's the best of me. Early 2025 edition. Up in Canada, political hopeful Pierre Poilivre, seen here confused about how he got in front of a microphone and why the hell anyone's still listening to him, is dropping in the polls rapidly. I have no idea what sins Danielle committed in the past, but apparently her penance was 20 Hail Marys, 40 Our Fathers, and 26 billion in public funds. Marcus Carnivorous recently headed to the UK to emphatically state that Canada is not, in fact, a thirsty bitch, because he's upset that his daughter and wife would rather bang Justin with the good hair than him, praising Mark Carney for returning his calls and acknowledging that there is more to none of it than tiring out first graders by asking them to color it in on a map. The garage has concluded that she's rubber, the taxpayers are glue, anything they say bounces off of her and puts the province further into debt. Is Saskatchewan a secret Marxist enclave? She's liable to sell off the AGLC for a shot of vodka and a box set of Family Guy DVDs. Nothing says strength like sending all the people who are supposed to keep your provinces and territories running down to America in the middle of a coup. Justin with the good hair is back.
My name is Karen, and I'm a conservative.
I feel like I could have already told you both those things before she started talking. So you guys want to hear about the first time I ever took mushrooms and became a super chicken? While Doug's suggestion that Canada's premiers come together to form Maple Voltron is all well and good, suggesting that there is something that Canada can do to earn America's Mad King's respect is just plain stupid. The voting in a half-wit who worships a spray-tan dementia patient might make as much sense as truck nuts on a Prius. Justin with the good hair has given his 2 weeks notice, so he should be checked out in a bathroom stall somewhere playing Mario Kart. No means no, so keep your little hands out of our vagina. Or truck nuts at all. Doug, like all mobsters, worships anyone who's an even bigger mobster than he is. You know how if you've got a hammer and you're a moron, everything looks like a nail? The CBC is reporting that Danielle Smith is pledging to clean up any wrongdoing with Alberta Health Services. They did not report whether or not she currently has a broom in hand and is lifting a rug. Oh, say, can you see? We kicked your ass. I caught 2 things before my ADHD kicked in and I felt a need to go look at hot dudes coming out of swimming pools. Okay, I'm back. Offer me the validation that our economic system does not give me. And I saw this. Glorious. Pierre personality disorder, seen here participating in Alberta's favorite pastime, scowling in the cold while being wrong. And there doesn't have to be human excrement on the walls if we all just use toilets like grown-ups. I know what we're going for is a united front, but has anyone thought of just offering up the conservative premiers as human sacrifice? Hold on, there's a simpler, cheaper, and easier solution. Talk shit about Danielle Smith. Because Danielle isn't happy unless workers are getting screwed as aggressively as her after 3 drinks in the Florida sunset.
So remember, manly heterosexual men of Ontario, if you vote for a woman, chicks will think you're gay.
Apparently, Pierre's response to a slap in the face is to roll around on the ground and ask for belly rubs. On the plus side, it is nice to see the Catholic Church diversifying the age range of the people they victimize. He's so little, he doesn't understand that electricians don't handle electricity with their bare hands. Danielle Smith recently told reporters that she has been involved in no wrongdoing, so I guess someone else has been running Alberta. You can vote for whoever you want. It's a moderately free country for the time being, but this cheap one-ply will leave your nose red and your ass raw. But you do you, bud. Apparently, at least one of Canada's premiers does not enjoy hunting the homeless for sport. Are we sure this is real? How does the New York Times demonstrate this? Well, not with facts. They have a photo of one woman hiding her face, another guy with no chin who looks like he's telling a joke that nobody finds funny, and 2 closet cases telepathically tapping their feet in their mental bathroom stalls. Laddies and gentlewomen, children of all genders, step right up to witness Pierre's preposterous platitudes. Truly, the only way that Danielle Smith will ever have any convictions is if they're handed down by a jury of her peers.
Slam those brewskis and slam the hopes of your daughters, who may be under the mistaken impression that they can succeed based on merit, or by having the name Merit.
He can talk all he wants about promises, but this dude has his fingers crossed, his toes crossed, and his pubes braided in the shape of the old Stars and Stripes. Nobody is saying why the plane flipped over on its back, but some have speculated that maybe it felt very safe and wanted tummy rubs. Danielle Smith, aka Ron DeSantis in drag. First they tax you, then they spend you, now they steal the chairs. It's easy and requires very little research because of how flagrantly corrupt she is. I feel like you don't have the expertise to talk about politics. Neither does Danielle, because Steve Boots needs a fucking hug. To be clear, there will be no fucking in the hug. Pure polarization, seen here navel-gazing while his political future slips away. Presented for your amusement and fury. Two of the least appealing strippers Alberta has ever seen.
Vote Douglas Ford to let your daughters know that they are worth less than a big hole.
Reported by the Globe and Mail to have stripped the former CEO of Alberta Health Services of her authority to negotiate with chartered surgical facilities. Good question, spicy Melania. The DSM-5-TR lists a few criteria for narcissistic personality disorder.
Oh, yeah. I talked shit about Danielle Smith, and then I got a phone call from somebody with the Canadian Taxpayer Small Business Forum of Tomorrow, definitely not the oil industry, or something like that. And they were like, hey, we'll give you money to shut up. I mean, if you pretend to like Danielle Smith, I mean, if you enjoy Danielle Smith.
Pierre points the finger is not doing well in the polls. Mark Carney has a uniquely Canadian strategy that Pierre personality disorder doesn't know how to deal with. Being agreeable. May the force be with you. And also with you.
Pierre's campaign is burning down, burning down, burning down. Pierre's campaign is burning down. Mary Simon.
So, Pierre, parenting badly while campaigning, remember that Winnipeg was a place recently. You're not giving money to charity without getting a tax receipt, are you? It's not that I'm a second account of Steve Boots. He's a second account of mine. This woman, who I assume is both a female youth pastor at an evangelical church, but is also giving off hardcore Secret Subaru vibes. Like, when I listen to Jagmeet deliver his speeches, which I can only assume are being written by the team behind Hillary's 2016 campaign, he keeps talking about when the NDP formed government, which, if you look at the polling data, it's pretty clear that unless news comes out that Carney has a taste for Nova Scotian flesh, and honestly, even then, the odds of the NDP forming government this year are lower than me finding true love on Grindr. Is nobody proofreading Pierre's speeches? Because he just said he's going to sell small businesses across the ocean. It's like he's finally admitting that the words coming out of his mouth don't matter. There's a reason that Fugly Joffrey keeps telling you how much of a stable genius he is and how he's going to fix the trade deficit by making Americans greatly depressed again. But acting like Winnipeg and Calgary are samesies is just damned ignorant. She may be married with 2 kids, but right now I can't help but feel like inside her there are 2 wolves fighting for dominance, and one of them is Roseanne Barr and one of them is Ellen DeGeneres 3 drinks in, and they're gonna do some things that you cannot talk about on TikTok. Now I've had my chances with all sorts of men. But from the perspective of someone analyzing politics from an anti-narcissistic perspective, I love it. Like, this is the most anti-narcissist mistake you could make. Ladies and gays, I'm sorry, but this man is taken. But apparently, you can vote for him if you live in the riding of Central Nova. And based on the polls, it looks like there is a lot of support for this tall drink of Nova Scotian seawater. Wait, you're not supposed to put seawater in your mouth. I suppose his wife probably also would like you to not put him in your mouth. Oh, Pierre, how many ways can I tell people you're a liar? Let me count the ways. Beyond that, we have such a large Filipino population that if you open up Grindr, you will find that no matter where you are in the city, you are never more than 8 kilometers away from a Filipino crossdresser. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's always easy to find someone, but when your party's whirlwind romance reads like an HR complaint, the only parts of Winnipeg that might be anything like Calgary are those weird suburbs named after things that aren't in them, like Island Lakes or Bridgewater or Linden Woods. I feel like Pierre should, like, in private, have a talk with his big beautiful wife and let her know that sometimes her P's sound a lot like T's.
Leadership is not born from the boardroom of the elite.
The Pope is sick, and not just in the way that most popes are sick as they shuffle around predatory priests without telling their congregants that they're getting a wolf in a collar into their neighborhood. I believe when asked for comment, Pierre responded by saying, it hurts. It hurts so bad. I have never hurt this much in my life. Please, Conrad Black, take me now. Can we get some terms? Because Trump has been fucking the American Constitution like it was competing in one of his underage beauty pageants. So, was your oath to sit back and not participate as a reality TV star overthrows the American government? Was your oath to keep comfortably collecting a check so long as the browncoats don't come to your door? Hey, lady types, do not travel to the United States of Russia! Elizabeth May recently spoke publicly about the fact that she would like to have the Canadian government set up a war cabinet. Now, at first thought, I thought this would be a place where Canadians could put away their weaponized teacups. Drug Ford, like any politician, believes that in order to keep people waking up in the morning, having a shower, and possibly putting on pants before heading into work at a job they might rather not go to, the provincial government needs to hurt anyone who doesn't go to work. Why for months have you been letting everyone hammer you about this, like Lindsey Graham at one of those parties that Madison Cawthorn went on about? I think you're into it. I think you like being humiliated. For you to truly surprise people and give that, I get it. Yes, a joke. You're not telling me the truth. And that's funny in this moment. You would need to say something like this. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to be honest with you. I did fire the head of AHS because she had dirt on me and my staff. I would have been implicated in defrauding the province, and my hope was that the little mousy doctor lady would go away. Like everyone else, I've railroaded in my career. Well, that would mean... Pierre, do you secretly like my content? That is a horrifying thought. I agree. Leadership does not need a degree. Leadership is not born in the boardroom or in any other real job. Leadership can easily grow and fester and overflow and really come into its own in the Conservative caucus. Drunk Ford says he doesn't believe in taxes, which makes sense because sober Ontarians don't believe in Doug. Is the Western Standard secretly working for the Carney campaign? Or are they just stupid? The, ooh, it's fat here shtick is not endearing. It's overplayed and just as clever as asking if something's free because it doesn't have a price tag. Because let's be honest, you've got a price but no tag and everybody knows that. So get the name of the city of my birth out of your billionaire ball-gargling mouth. And there have been hundreds. I remember this guy named Trevor. I felt a little bad, but the funeral was lovely. Anyway, I also fired the board of AHS because, just like the doctor lady, they didn't understand that the goal of AHS is to make sure that we have enough workers in the oil field, and that's it. India. This was one attack chihuahua too far. Hospitals get targets for how many surgeries they do and how fast they do them. So, like, surgeons need to double as speedrunners. I'm gonna damage boost through his appendix so I can beat my PB is probably not something you want the lady cutting you open to say. Goddamn Galen Weston and goddamn Drunk Ford. This Tesla's on fire. Fire. Hands on our boobs. Saskatchewanese womenfolk probably never thought that they'd have to be having to shout to get their lady lumps pressed in a vice. Somebody needs to tell the boys in blue that a trade war isn't supposed to end with coconut oil and a happy ending. Marcus Carnivorous has successfully axed the tax, stopped the drugs, and slashed the balls of Pierre Poilivre.
Take you for a ride on a slow bus to Chinatown. Where in the world is
Danielle Smith. Transport Minister Chrystia Freeland has given Tesla's Canadian market share ye old Winnipeg handshake. Hallelujah, we did it! We successfully made Malena Sith remember that Canadians have ear holes. You reposting my content will definitely help you and not me. Thanks for watching. Bye.